everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. Today is day 26 of Christy's Beautiful Life, 30 Days of Sketches, and Scraptember. The sketch is in the upper left-hand corner. Actually, you see it in stereo there because it's to the left of my layout right now as well. The Scraptember prompt is mixed metals. In the sketch, there are 3 photos, and I'm also going to be using 3 photos on my layout. The photo on the right is a photo of my younger daughter, Julia, and these were taken on my birthday about 5 years ago. There's a restaurant chain called Chevy's, and there used to be a location in a mall that's very near to us, but that one closed down. But that location had these beautiful tiles on the walls, and so this paper really reminded me of those tiles. The location that we're in these pictures didn't have those tiles, but I like the idea of using this paper to go along with this restaurant. It's a Mexican themed restaurant, and I know it's probably not very authentic Mexican food, but my family liked the menu and we had fun there. So we would go there every now and then, and on this occasion, I decided to take pictures of the decor rather than just photos of us at our table. I'm following the sketch very closely in the way that I'm layering the papers and arranging the photos. I really love these bold prints. I'm just trying to be careful not to make the background and the layout look too busy. So I am layering these 2 different but very busy pattern papers on top of each other, and I'm using some solid papers to separate them a little bit and make the page a little more readable. I mounted the tile paper on some green solid paper, and then I mounted the other print on some red paper. At first, I had each of my photos mounted on a different color of cardstock. Then I changed my mind. I decided that there were just too many different colors on the page, so I backed all of them in some white cardstock instead. And I switched the papers off camera. You could see here now that the photos are backed in the white cardstock. 2 of the photos are going to be layered, so I attach them together, and now I'm popping up all 3 photos on some fun foam. And now I'm attaching the photos down to the layered pattern papers, but I'm not going to glue the pattern papers down to the background just yet because I want to do some mixed media in the background. As I mentioned, the Scraptember prompt is mixed metals. I had some metal photo corners in my stash. I didn't have enough to put on all the corners, but I didn't think I really needed them. I just put 1 on each of the photos. And I put the photo corner on a different corner on each of the photos as well. There's a tag in the sketch, so I decided to add a tag to my layout as well. I had this off-white tag in my stash, and in order to make it stand out, I thought I would mount it on some red pattern paper. It already had an eyelet in it, so I cut a hole in the red tag that was a little bit bigger than the eyelet so that I could put some string through the eyelet. As I mentioned, I'm going to make a mixed media background. I want to know where the pattern papers are going to go, but I want to be really careful that the pencil lines aren't going to show because they're really hard to get rid of. So I just reach the pencil underneath the pattern papers so that the pencil lines definitely won't show when I layer the pattern paper on top of the mixed media background. I'm using a piece of smooth heavyweight cardstock. This is 120 pounds, and I've already coated it with some white gesso, and I'm using some Prima Color Bloom 2 sprays. The yellow spray is called Spring Dandelion, and the orange spray is called Pot Marigold. And you could see that I'm putting some spray onto a piece of plastic and squishing it around the background. I don't want to have a lot of mixed media. I just want to have a small touch just to make the background a little bit interesting. And I keep trying those clusters on the background just to make sure that the color isn't overpowering the pattern papers, although in this case the pattern papers are so bold that it'll be a little harder than usual to overpower them with the background. In between applications of the color, I dried the background. The layers of paint really make the paints look more interesting. Now I'm putting some splatters in the background. First I use some Spring Dandelion, and then I go in with the Pot Marigold. I find that the Prima Color Bloom 2 sprays are very shiny and they are also very intense. So I am being very careful here not to overdo it. I added a little bit of green to the background, just some splatters. That's called brimstone wings. And then I dry the background and I add some water. And then I roll paper towel over the background, and that lifts up some of the color. The paper towel picking up the water also picks up some of the color, and it just makes a really cool effect that I really love. Now I'm adding some white splatters. These white splatters are watered down white acrylic paint. And on this background that's very light, they won't make a huge impact, but I do like the layers of colors and all the little touches, and I think it's worth adding the white splatters to pretty much any mixed media background. Another thing I like to add to my layouts is watered down black acrylic paint splatters. I didn't do that on this layout. The darkest color in the pattern papers is brown, and I wasn't sure how the brown and black would look together, so I decided to just leave the background as it was. I use ATG adhesive and I attach both of the clusters down to the mixed media background. And now I'm thinking of how I want to embellish the layout. I had some fancy pants chipboard banners, and I thought the banners would be a good addition to this page. They're very festive and I love the colors. I think that the colors match perfectly with this collection. There were also some hearts and stars that were on the chipboard sheet. I don't end up using the heart. I do use the stars, but they are going to move around a little bit. I really wanted the banners to stand out. Contrast is so important on this layout because of the very busy pattern papers. So I'm again using some solid cardstock to put behind the chipboard banners so that you'll be able to see the banner so that they'll stand out. And the banner that I'm using is a little bit bigger than the one in the sketch, but I still think it fits really well under the photo that's on the right. I just have the paper pad for this collection, so I don't have any embellishments. I don't know if there were any embellishments made, but I'm going to have to piece together some things from my stash for the layout. Once I had the banners attached to the page, I was thinking that they looked a little bare. So I went back to the stars and I'm layering those on top of the banners. And I put an orange one on the light blue banner and the light blue one on the orange one and the red on the yellow one. And I think that all of those colors are enough of a contrast that you can clearly see the stars. There were also some slightly smaller stars on the chipboard sheet, so I started off by putting them on the photo corners. But then I quickly decided that I didn't really like the way that looked, and I thought that they would look nice layered on those larger stars, and I tried it out, and I thought that that looked much better than the stars on the photo corners. I have these metal pieces in my stash. I think they are Prima. I'm not 100% sure. I might have gotten them in one of those grab boxes from Prima. In any case, I had these large metal circles and I thought that these would be perfect for this layout. I think that they go well with the papers, and it's also the Scraptember theme to use mixed metals, as I mentioned, so now I have some more metal on the page. And the color of the dots is an oil rub bronze color, and it's a little different from the copper color on the photo corners, but I still think that they're close enough that they go together. I was thinking about it. I did not like that off-white tag. I just felt like it clashed with the background. It didn't really add anything to the layout, so I cut out a yellow tag and I mounted that on some red cardstock. Since the other tag was a pre-made tag, it already had an eyelet in it, but I'm going to have to add one to this tag. So I use the old tag as a template, and I use this tool. It's by We Are Memory Keepers, and I don't know what it's called, but it's very useful. It punches holes. So I was able to punch a hole in the tag, and then it also sets eyelets. So I added a white eyelet, and then I added some twine to the tag. So I attach the twine and I pull it through, and then I add some adhesive, and I decided to follow the sketch and tuck it underneath the pattern paper. I wanted to add some enamel dots between the banners. I was having a little bit of trouble though because they kept falling in between the banners. I didn't want to use a really big white enamel dot. I liked the size, so I tried gluing them, but they just did not want to stay. So what I did was I took a little bit of white foam and I cut it really small and I just stuck it between those banners, and then the enamel dots were able to rest on the foam instead of trying to balance on the edge of the banners. And I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure you could hear the noise that's in the background. I'm behind a closed door, but unfortunately you could still hear what's happening throughout the house. In the paper pad, I found that there was this very thin stripe, and I thought that a small strip of it at the top and the bottom would finish off the page. So I cut a strip for the top and the bottom, and then I mounted each of the strips on this blue pattern paper, but although it's a pattern paper, it reads as a solid. And then I mounted a strip on the top and the strip on the bottom, and I was happy with it. I did feel that it made the page look more finished. I wanted to add something to the center of the stars, so I decided that I was going to use 3 different colors of jewels. I use an orangey yellow jewel, a green one, and a red one. I felt that I needed to add something else to the page. So I found these very colorful Martha Stewart bird stickers, and the stickers were so old that they wouldn't peel up off of the sticker sheet. I actually had to leave the backing on the sticker sheet and peel away the top layer of paper. And I was shocked, but surprisingly, I was able to peel up the 3 birds without any damage. A few of the smaller leaves came off on one of the birds, but the birds were just fine. And of course, now they're not stickers, but that's okay. I just glued them down to the background. I felt really lucky that the birds matched so well with the colors of this layout. And the birds are a little more delicate than anything else on the page, and I think that helped the page to come together. So that completes this layout, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're enjoying 30 Days of Sketches and Scraptember. You can check out the Instagram posts and the YouTube videos of all the other scrapbookers who are following along with this challenge. Take a look in the description box and you'll find links to their channels and to their Instagram accounts. I hope that you have a fantastic day, and I hope that you'll come back again tomorrow for day 27. I hope to see you then. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.